to Totalis Rankium. This week, Nicholas Cannabis.
Hello, and welcome to Roman Emperors Totalis Rankium for what seems like a bloody long time. I am Jamie.
And I'm Rob, and this is ranking all of the Romans from Augustus to Augustulus, and this is episode 154. It's a surprise episode. A surprise emperor.
What?
Didn't know I was going to be doing an episode on Nicholas until halfway through writing up my notes for Alexios 5, when I realised, you know what? Nicholas deserves an episode. If we're going on what we've always gone on, which is certain rules, certain arbitrary rules.
Flexible.
Yeah, you know what? He's having an episode, so I've given it to him. This is the episode of Nicholas Cannabis.
Oh, the most chilled out emperor.
He was so chilled.
Is this why it's such a short episode? He just spent his time in his room in a hot box, just munching away on biscuits and crisps.
It was all a munchies, that's what it was. I strongly suggest you get as many cannabis jokes out as quickly as possible, because you're not going to have long. Spoiler.
Excellent, okay, right. Yeah, so when was this dude born?
This dude... hang on, no. Before we get into the birth of Nicholas, let's talk about last episode, because as you hinted right at the start, it's been a while for us.
Yeah.
It's been a while for our listeners, because we're now releasing Roman episodes monthly. But we got ahead of the game, and we actually recorded our last Roman episode over 2 months ago.
That's because I went on holiday. Yes, we crammed a load in, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, we crammed a load in. So it would not surprise me at all if you are a little bit lost right now, Jamie.
You wearing a tie?
I am wearing a tie.
Yeah. Very dapper. Well done.
Wearing a tie and a cardigan.
Oh,
Thank you for
that's
noticing.
right. You're welcome.
So listeners, imagine me speaking in a tie.
And nothing else.
I wouldn't put that in the minds of the listeners. That's a terrifying image. Anyway, recap. That's what we're doing. In the last episode, Alexios IV and his blind father were put in place as puppets.
Yes, by the power... No. Who by?
No, by the crusading armies, the Venetians and the Franks teamed up, remember?
That was it.
Yeah. The Franks wanted to go and reclaim the Holy Land, and the Venetians went, how about, we just go and invade Constantinople instead?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. We left the story of Alexios V Ducas cooing the young Alexios IV and then killing his father. Yeah. So you might be wondering, who the hell's Nicholas? Why are we doing him and not Alexios V? Because we really did end that episode with and next up is Alexios V. And
Was he Alexios V's or IV's dealer? Was he a peddler?
Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. This is not one of these cases where it's actually the same person. Nicholas Cannabis and Alexios V are very different people. So just telling you that now, there's not going to be any shock reveal. Okay. Oh, it's the same guy. No. Right, and a quick recap. If you remember, Isaac II, he was an emperor, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was cooed by his elder brother, Alexios III.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to find my notes. Oh, Alexios III, go on.
Yeah.
Eisenhower.
Isaac II's son, Alexios IV, was imprisoned but escaped captivity, remember? He managed to hide in a barrel on a ship.
Right.
They used a special barrel.
Wine barrel?
He was in a secret compartment.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, there we go. So Alexios IV managed to escape, and he headed west, and he sold the empire to the crusading Franks and the Venetians, which is why he scored so poorly.
Yeah.
The Crusader army turned up, and Alexios III, who was on the throne at the time, simply fled. He didn't know how to answer this, so he ran away. And Alexios IV was put in charge as a puppet. His blind father, Isaac II, was pulled out of his monastery and made co-puppet. So you've got two puppet emperors on the throne.
Where do the hands go?
Who knows? Don't ask. Don't ask. Let's say it was strings.
Oh, thank goodness. Marionettes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's what they were. Yeah. So as covered in last episode, tensions grew and grew within the capital. It soon became very clear that the crusading armies were not going anywhere. Not until they'd stripped the city of everything, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, they weren't going to try and invade and get in the city, because that would be tricky. But, I mean, They've got puppets on the throne inside the city. They are controlling the situation. They're going to hang around until they can squeeze every last drop out of the city. Now, Alexios IV, being a kid and a puppet, was doing nothing. He was just playing dice, if you remember, with the crusading leaders. And his father seemed to be going slightly insane. If you remember, Isaac seemed to think he was going to get his vision back somehow, and he was going to reunify the East and the West Empire.
Is that insane or just really wishful?
What's the difference,
Well,
Jamie?
that's true.
What's the difference?
That's true. Like, sir, your eyes aren't going to come back yet. They were removed. Look, here they are. Oh, you can't see them.
Yes, don't put them back in. Oh, that's not going to help. They're all vinegary now. Yeah, anyways, the Latin troops in the city end up burning down a huge sector. There was a massive fire, one of the biggest we've seen in a very long time. The city was on edge, to put it very bluntly. Not like on the edge of a fence or anything.
No.
Like on the edge of a razor blade, and no one wants to be on that edge.
Yeah. One side's flamey, the other
Yeah.
side's also flamey.
Yeah, and you're just sliced in two.
Oh.
Half of you goes into the flames and the other half goes into... It's just not
No.
good. It's not good. Anyway, those high up in the city start to realise they really need a strong leader, not this puppet. If they've got any chance, and it didn't look like they had any chance, but if they wanted a chance, they needed someone who was not Alexios IV in charge.
Right, let me stop you here. I know how this is going to go.
Go on, then.
So, they call it, like, Nicholas! Hey, you got any stuff? He comes in, opens up his
Yeah.
Big Mac, loads of little baggies, right? Dishes it out,
Yeah.
pays it. Mad sesh in the tent.
Yeah.
Like, hot box in it, zips closed, because they had zips back then.
They did.
And just one of them jokingly said, "Oh, Nicholas, just imagine, right, if we made you..." What was I saying?
Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Yeah.
If, right. There's not much point doing the rest of the episode. You've pretty much got it. No, seriously, you are quite close. Those high up in the city decide that they're going to have to do something. Rumours of assassination plots and coup attempts were abound. And that catches us up. We are now ready to dive into Nicholas. So here we go. Nicholas. The life of Nicholas. Everything we know about Nicholas.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about Nicholas.
Oh,
We don't know when he was born.
right.
He was apparently a relatively young soldier.
That makes sense.
That is it. He would have had ties to the aristocracy, otherwise he wouldn't have been chosen. But
I'm guessing,
who knows how strong those ties
yeah,
were?
well, fertile farmlands, any structure there.
Yes, he was the son of a rich farmer. Let's say that.
With
someone who was doing really well.
great heat sources, yeah.
At some point, we know he got married, but that's it. That's everything we know about his early life up until the point where he enters our story.
That's probably
So
the
he
shortest early life I've ever had.
We've had shorter, but not for a while. Because we've been well sourced for a really long time, and we are now back to we just don't know.
There was a person.
Yeah, there was a person, and there you go. So the events that took place that I mentioned just a moment ago in the recap took place, and a meeting was called in the Hagia Sophia without the Emperor's knowledge. So Alexios IV doesn't know what's going on. The crusading armies outside the walls don't know what's going on. But there is a meeting in the Hagia Sophia of all the important people. Our main source, Nicetas, who we've been using extensively recently, was in this meeting. So we get to find out what was going on. And I quote here, "The Senate, the Assembly of Bishops, and the venerable clergy were compelled to convene thither and debate together as to who should succeed as emperor. We were entreated earnestly to speak spontaneously on this matter, to the effect that an attack be launched forthwith against the emperors and another elected to the throne." So this is full-on cards on the table. It's coup in time.
You can tell it's a very, even the way you say it's a very stoned conversation.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it was stoned at this point. I think it was...
This is the rational.
I think it's all very sick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all very rational at this point. Because there's a problem. No one wanted the job.
Well, you'd have to be an idiot to go for the job, wouldn't you?
You really would. I mean, it was a death sentence. As soon as someone took the throne, the crusading armies and the supporters of Alexios IV would just kill them. Seriously, it is a bad idea to become the emperor at this point.
So they just need
A really bad
an
idea.
idiot then that they can control.
That's what they need. They just need someone to say, "I'll be the figurehead."
Right.
That's all they need. No one is putting their hand up. And I quote again. "We realised full well that whoever was proposed for election would be led out the very next day like a sheep led to slaughter, and that the chiefs of the Latin hosts would wrap their arms around Alexios and defend him." So, I mean, seriously, Who would want this job? Who, Jamie? Who would want it?
I don't know. Maybe only a fool.
Only a mad fool, or someone who's perhaps a bit distracted, not really paying attention. Who knows?
Someone lighting up a blunt in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Nicetas said at this point that anyone in the city, all they needed to say was, I'll do the job, I'll be emperor, and they would have got it. They were desperate. They were looking for anyone. Eventually, it was decided that a nobleman named Radinos would become the emperor.
Radinos?
Yeah, it was decided. It was a vote was taken. Radinos is now emperor. And I'm guessing everyone turned in the Hagia Sophia to where Radinos once was.
No.
Radinos? Where are you going?
There's,
I swear, he was there a moment ago. He was definitely
there's a
there.
weird Radisov-shaped hole in that door. Odd that. Because you can even see his sandwich in the outcut. That's weird.
He went so quickly, his shadow's still there. And his shadow's now sneaking out the window. It's getting very surreal. Yeah, apparently Radinos saw which way the vote was going and thought, no. No, thank you, he thought. I will quote her. Everybody wanted Radinos, but he was unwilling. So he disguised himself as a monk and went into hiding.
Fair enough.
Which I'd like to think, full on, like, Hitman style, on his way out of Hagia Sophia, he knocked out a monk and put his robes on, hid the monk's body in a cupboard somewhere, and just sauntered out, whistling a monk's tune.
Oh God, how faithful are we?
Yeah, exactly. And then he reconvened with his shadow that had managed to get out of the window.
But the shadow has the outline of him not being a monk.
Oh, and that's how you could always tell it was him.
You see, Shadow had the big Mohican that Radinos had.
Yeah, this is how folktales start.
I know,
yeah. Anyway, so he went into hiding, into the sunset. Those assembled decided, right, well, what's the only sensible thing to do? Let's arrest Radinos' wife, shall we? Okay, said someone.
Right.
And they went and arrested Radinos' wife. She was dragged into the front of the meeting and ordered to say where Radinos was.
She must have been bloody furious. I don't know, I'm waiting for him. Tea's been on the table for a day and a half. I'm bloody furious.
Meeting has lasted a lot longer than he said it would. Yeah. Well, she just didn't know. She said so, and everyone went, "Oh,
damn!"
And then someone went, "Another vote?" Because I mean, this was days into the meeting, and this is meant to be a secret meeting, and it's very hard to keep a meeting secret when it's going on for days. But there you go. Right, it's fine. Another vote. Another discussion takes place, and this time they decide on a young soldier called Nicholas Cannabis. And they turn to where Nicholas Cannabis once was, and they find nothing there as well.
Oh.
But then they just look down slightly and see he's just slumped in his chair.
Yeah.
just snoring gently.
Yeah. Smile on the face.
They shake him awake. He's a bit paranoid, so he screams. But no, they calm him down. No escape for Nicholas. He starts doing that running on the spot thing, but they've got him by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. You are going to be the Emperor, Nicholas. We have decided.
No, I don't want to. What do we think about this, Overspliff?
Yeah, they calm him down in the only way they know how, and eventually he stops trying to run. But he really doesn't want to do this. He does not want to be the Emperor. It's a death sentence. Yeah. But there's very little he can do. He's surrounded by the leading men of the city, and they force the crown upon him. They crown him against his will.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, now there is some debate whether the Patriarch was actually present at the coronation, which does kind of make a difference, because if he's not there, and Nicholas doesn't want the job, I mean, how much is he really an emperor? And this is why he's often not counted on lists. But I found his story funny, and there is some debate on whether the Patriarch was there or not. So you know what? We're having it.
Yeah, he was there.
So,
just ignoring the screams of, no! You can't make me!
Trying to bash the crown off, pinning his arms by his side.
Wear the cloak.
Shoving the red shoes on. Oh, it was, anyway, eventually, this enforced crowning took place in the Hagia Sophia, and he was supported by a majority of the leaders. So there you go. New Emperor, Emperor Nicholas I.
Wow.
Long may be his reign.
Oh, dear.
And his dynasty. Anyway, not long after Nicholas is made emperor, news came to the Hagia Sophia. When I say not long, we're talking hours.
Right.
Alexios IV, the puppet emperor, was going to let the Franks into the city to stop this coup. Yeah, that's not good. There was a brief panic, but it's fine because then another word came down. One more thing, said Roger. So he delivered the first bit of news. He walked out and then he pulled a Columbo. Oh, there's another bit of news. Sorry.
One more thing.
Alexios Doukas, the advisor of Alexios IV, had imprisoned the emperor, and the old man Isaac II had tragically had an accident. I don't know, while brushing his teeth or something.
Oh, no.
But he's dead now. Who'd have thought it?
Well, accidental disembowelments can happen if you're not careful with your toothbrush.
They really can. Exactly. There was relief for a brief time, but then another message came down. This one directly from Alexios Doukas. And I'll quote this one. We've actually got the message. I have captured your enemy, Isaac's son, so Alexios IV. I am now your emperor, and I am appointing Nicholas to be senior courtier. Take off the crown. So, in other words, Nicholas, take off the crown, I'm emperor, tell you what, you can be an important part of my administration.
Do I still get the weed?
You can get all the weed you want. In fact, you are now in charge of weed.
Yeah, it's the crown.
Well, I can only assume Nicholas was more than happy with this. It's like, yeah, I didn't want to be emperor. You be emperor. You be emperor. And I get a promotion. Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic, says Nicholas, probably, jumping up and down for joy. Until he notices everyone else in the room. They're all sitting in stony silence, slowly shaking their heads.
Hands on swords.
They had spent a long time in this meeting choosing Nicholas, and you know what it's like. We're in a meeting. Imagine a 3-hour meeting that then overruns by half an hour. How infuriating that is. This meeting has overrun by several days by this point. And they finally came to a conclusion. They finally did it. And then someone comes along and says, no, we're overturning this decision. Oh, they weren't happy. Not happy at all. They did not like the idea of Alexios Doukas taking charge. I mean, where did his loyalties lie exactly? No one really knew. He was advisor to Alexios IV. Would we be able to control him? No, we've got our own puppet now. We want this Nicholas. Wake up, Nicholas. Oh, anyway, we want him. That's who we want. So they sent back a reply, snatching Nicholas's reply of yes, please, that was probably written on a king-size Rizzler. They replaced it with, to hell with anyone who abandons Nicholas. That was their reply.
Then Nicholas says, then to hell with Nicholas for abandoning Nicholas?
I really want to abandon Nicholas.
I'm so high right now.
Am
I emperor?
I've abandoned me. Yeah, anyway, Nicholas probably not happy, but no one's listening to him. Later that day, after the sunset, the Hagia Sophia was stormed by troops.
Uh-oh.
Nicholas and his wife, who apparently is nearby, were arrested and placed in prison. And we never hear from him again.
Oh. So
he was probably executed
possibly
the next day, most likely. Yeah. So there you go. That is the glorious reign of Nicholas Cannabis.
I know this is going to kind of ruin Tempo Completo.
Yeah.
How many days did that last for?
6.
Wow. Does that beat Quintillus?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right, let's rate him.
Let's rate him.
Fightius Maximus.
0.
That's it. I mean, it does say he's a soldier. It's one of the few things we know about him.
But we
don't know. That's a good point. Next.
Approbium Crasium.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he saw many things. Maybe he was quite paranoid. Maybe he started to hallucinate because he just took that much.
Maybe.
But there are
he's just in a constant tranquil state. You don't know.
Yeah, there are no stories. That just isn't anything. Obviously, this is a 0. This is a 0. Next.
Successus Ultimus.
Well, no.
No, yeah.
He did nothing.
I mean, he did bring a relaxing calm to the Empire for quite a while.
Yeah.
Prior to being Emperor, but that didn't continue very long.
No, it didn't. Next.
Imago Facius.
No images. We're genuinely not being unfair this time just because he's got a poor reign. There's just no images of him. We've got nothing.
What on the card then? Should we just put a picture of his spliff?
Yes. Okay, next.
Tempo Completo.
Do you want me to guess?
Go on then.
6 days?
6 days. And do you know what's really interesting about 6 days, Jamie?
What?
We round to the nearest hundredth.
Oh.
And that means if you've reigned for 11 days, like Gordian 1 or 2, you still just eke out rounding to the nearest hundredth, 0.01.
Oh dear.
But if you round 6 days, if you turn that into a decimal and then round it to the nearest hundredth, you get 0.00.
Oh my goodness.
Jamie, we have our first ever 0 score.
Oh my goodness.
Which is why he's quite often just not counted as an emperor, because he is such a nothing emperor.
Oh no, he counts.
But, I mean, I think he counts. He got crowned in the Hagia Sophia, and he had support of the Senate. He had support of the leading members.
I mean, Rex factored in a whole episode on Lady Jane Grey. That was 9 days.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
what's the difference?
you know, yeah.
What's the difference? So there you go.
That is brilliant.
So if you could just do the maths on that, what's the score?
Add the 4, carry the 1, divide by pi. Reroute the x, do the sign, cos 10. 0.
0.
0, yes.
Point.
0. 0 recurring.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Nasty. Bit brutal.
But
It would have been kinder to not even do an episode on him, actually.
It really would. So I started writing this section of Alexius V's episode because this was all going to be in his episode. And it's like, well, hang on, no, he got crowned.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it would be funny, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think our listeners will appreciate this episode this week.
I think so. I definitely think so. But there's still one more question.
Is there?
Oh, yeah. Let's ask it.
Do they have a certain je ne Caesar?
Yes. I'm going for yes.
Yes, because he is going to be the lowest scoring emperor in the entirety of the two series.
That's a landmark for us and for him. Because we recognised him and then destroyed him.
I've got to say no, because there's nothing about him. There is literally nothing. I mean, it's a slightly funny story, but it's not as funny as Theodosius III, the other reluctant emperor we've had, because he was dragged out of his fishing village and he was supposed to go and sit outside the walls and all sorts.
Yeah.
That was genuinely hilarious. This one was just, no, I'm being arrested. Oh, execution. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Are you still saying yes?
No, I'll go with no. I will go with no.
Are you saying no as well? Because I'm happy to let Jupiter decide.
No, honestly, I don't even know where the coin is. I think it's in this drawer somewhere. But yeah, we'll stay with no, because I think you're right.
You know what? If you don't know where the coin is, in a way, that is Jupiter deciding.
Yes,
Jupiter hid the coin.
That is a good point.
So that's nothing. It's no je ne Caesar. It's no points. It is nothing but a slightly suspicious smell in the air from where he once was.
Yes. What's that sweet smell?
Yeah.
Let's get some snacks.
There you go. So thank you very much for listening to this episode. But you'll be pleased to know we are releasing Alexios 5 this weekend as well, because, I mean, just this seems a little bit sad. So
don't release that, though, for at least 6 hours after you release this one.
Because it will just confuse people.
Yeah, leave it hanging for a bit and then...
Yeah. So is this it? Yeah, no, it's not it. It's fine. So, so stay tuned. Alexios 5 will be here shortly. But, I mean, spoiler warning, that one is not actually much longer than this. So,
oh, dear.
Yeah. But stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for all the support. We'll do proper goodbyes at the end of next episode. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Get the legs, Steve! Get the legs! No, Steve! Grab it! He's kicking. Right, kick him back, right, okay, I've tied this. Gag him! Steve, put the gag in! Oh, right. Oh, that's better. Right. Okay. Do you? Right. Just shut up. Do you accept being emperor? Forget the vows. Forget the vows. Look. Just scream with your eyes if you want to be emperor. Right. I saw that. Did you see that? I now pronounce you emperor. Sorry. What's that? There's a message. Oh.